I'm glad we avoided the rain. And any questions?
Freddie, Jalen seemed to be making some good catches in camp, obviously. Does that just speak to the depth of this wide receiver group?
Well, I don't know about that. I think everybody in that room is just like every other place, has to perform a little better. I wasn't being facetious when I said that no position on the field played well the other night, so that was one of them.
Is the rest of the receiver battle? I mean, it seems like you got a competition for whatever it is, 2 or 3 spots. Is that going to be one of your primary focuses Thursday night?
Well, they're definitely going to get work and see if they can perform better than they did last week. But, Jalen had a good camp. It was just, a decision we decided to make.
Freddie, how's Braxton come along? I know he was only here for 48 hours or whatever before last week's game. How's he adjusting?
I think he's picking up the offense. So that tells you a little bit about his learning ability. And then we'll see if we can put him in some positions to make some plays Thursday night. So he's doing well, though.
Are you trying to return?
We don't know that yet. We've talked about it. We haven't decided. We've got some other guys we want to see back there, too. So it would have more to do with that than not letting him catch them.
Is Ratley going to play Thursday? Is he okay?
Ratley should play, yes.
In terms of Miller, one thing he obviously brings is speed to the position.
Yeah.
And do you think you need more speed at wideout? Some of you guys are.
Yeah, we're always looking to upgrade in any area, whether it be ball skills or speed or any kind of quality that a receiver may have. Just like we're always looking to upgrade an offensive line, defensive line, every place. So I don't think a necessity, no.
We just talked to Seth DeValve, and he said he's fighting for a roster spot, and Thursday's important for him. He acknowledged, all that. But how hard is it with him when he misses a couple weeks with a concussion to do that evaluation and throw everything into the hopper when it comes in?
3 of the most important abilities, you guys have heard this: accountability, reliability, dependability. And throw availability in there. So, it's hard, but he's right. He's fighting for a spot, and we'll see how it happens. See what happens.
Have you gotten any answer from the NFL yet on whether or not Antonio Callaway and Kareem Hunt can kind of stick around with you guys a little bit during their suspension?
That's not made public yet. So, all that has to go through the league office. So we're not privy to answering questions for them.
Why would that be good for them or for you guys if you're able to do that?
Well, if we were in fact able to do it, it would be because of, one of the good reasons would be because Antonio's, recovering from an ankle injury. So to make sure he gets the proper medical care and stuff like that and the treatment, that would benefit the person as much as anything.
Will Kareem play?
Can you talk about where Baker's game is now compared to where he was at the end of last season?
Baker is substantially better at reading coverages, deciphering blitzes, fixing the protections, recognizing the blitzes. I think he's better in a lot of areas.
Is it a leap of faith to have known that Mayfield played one series in the opener, didn't play well in his only other game, and now has to go all the way to the season to be who you want him to be? Or do you know that he's going to be okay?
Yeah, I have total confidence he's going to be okay.
Fred, his ability to in the pocket. I mean, you obviously played the position at college level, but his just able to take 1 or 2 steps one way or the other. How much of that can be taught, and how much of that is just innate feeling?
Well, that part of it can be taught, all right, and where you stress that, because that is an important part of moving in the pocket. It doesn't always have to be escape. And what he does very well, and you can't really teach, is the escapability, getting outside the pocket and doing something with it then. I don't think you can teach that part of it once you're outside of the pocket.
You've said a couple times that Kareem Hunt is exactly where he needs to be. Does he need one more game, knowing we're not going to see him for 8 weeks, or not going to happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
And another running back question. Dearness Johnson and Dontrell Hill, do they have different skill sets? Or are they?
I think they're very similar skill sets, and they're battling. I mean, just because camp's broken doesn't mean these battles have ceased. They're going to battle, and they're going to battle all the way to the end. So, do they have the same type skill sets? Yes.
You talked about Terrence Mitchell coming on strong lately. Has Greedy kind of plateaued? Because it feels like Terrence has gotten a lot of that work with the ones that Greedy has been getting some of that.
Yeah, I hope not. We're not planning on him plateauing anytime soon. So hopefully he's got his head down. He's trying to get better. And there's some things, sometimes you know, guys in the media and people like that, not be funny, you only judge what you see as far as playing the ball. And, you know, I think Greedy's getting better.
I've seen in this fourth game before where a quarterback plays the entire game. Could that be in the cards?
You're trying a different approach with your questions. I commend you for that. But we haven't decided yet.
Decided on the kicking?
You won't see Baker.
Decided on the kicking thing?
What would you do if I trotted Baker out there?
We'll get something to write.
I have a feeling you guys are going to find something to write anyway.
What would your GM do?
He'd probably do the same thing y'all are doing.
Yeah. Is Dontrell going to play? Is he able to play running back and everything now?
Yeah. He's going to play.
In terms of the question about Mayfield hasn't played a bunch, but you're confident he'll be okay. What are some of the things you've seen in Nick Chubb that indicate to you that he'll take another step from what he was last year, even though we haven't seen him a ton?
Just the way he practices, the way he finished last year, the way he continually got better throughout the year, and the way he started out the spring, and he gets better every time he walks on the field.
One more on the valve. Has his role kind of evolved into more of a fullback?
It's one of those things where you know, the more you can do, the better your chances are, and I think he's recognized that, and he's worked on that aspect of his game. You know, and we'll see.
What was it about him that made you look at him and say, you know, maybe he could do this, maybe he could play a little fullback?
Well, somebody has to, and you know, he's got the body type, he's got the athletic ability to get through the hole, and sometimes when the guys are 6'6", you know, 6'5", 6'6", they struggle to get down low enough to get their pads up under somebody else. So it's probably a very simple answer. It's just he looks more like the part.
Do you like the idea of having a tight end who can do that rather than just a pure fullback?
Yeah, we're going to have a tight end that can do that. So, you know, well, he's not the only one that's done that. To probably follow up on your question, it's just when you're trying to get the other guys work at the tight end spot, somebody has to do the other parts of it. So.
You mentioned dependability and availability. The fact that Braxton Miller did not
And accountability.
Yeah, but those are the two abilities.
Reliability.
Yeah.
All right.
Braxton Miller didn't show that at Houston. That's why he's not there anymore. You're not going to have a lot of time for him to prove he can be available and dependable. So does that make the question on him more difficult in evaluation?
It's, you know, of course you'd always like to have the most, you know, the most room for evaluation. But again, just like other players that we've had, they come here, they're being evaluated once they get here, and that's all we're going off of.
When guys like that get here, are you so busy with you know, managing a 90-man roster that you don't really have time to go back and watch film of the new guys as they arrive, or do you horn that into your schedule?
You know that answer, right? I watch everything that's on that practice
hours,
field.
You don't have 26/7, you only have 24.
No, but it doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I watch everything on the field and I watch everything in here because you can miss things.
Does Braxton still have that special running ability he had when he was at Ohio State?
He seems like it. He almost pulled through one the other night on a shallow that we wanted to get the ball in his hands a couple of times, and so he seems like it. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing him play Thursday. I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of these guys play, you know, Thursday. What the funny thing about competition is you're either exposed or you get exposure, all right? And competition brings that to the forefront. And when you start talking about a preseason game, that's the ultimate competition. That's what you have to go off of, how a guy's going to take it from the practice field to the game. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys respond.
Freddie, number 19, Dorian Baker wasn't out there.
Sick.
So-
Yeah, sick. Yes, sir. Still here.
Would you prefer, everyone always is trying to find the perfect way for an imperfect preseason with games and stuff. As a coaching staff, would you like to have a second joint scrimmage, and maybe at the absence of taking away one of those preseason games to get work?
You know, we actually discussed that this year, of potentially doing that. There's some teams in the league that do that. So after going into their first preseason game, they'll practice against someone and then practice against someone else the next week. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and just the benefit of having that, even maybe at the absence of putting that product right there in a stadium and saying, at least you'll get to see Baker Mayfield in
Yeah.
two scrimmages as opposed to Baker Mayfield before plays.
Well, I think then you go back to, it's a lot like the fan day we had, the family night we had. It was a scrimmage, but it was a practice. And if you're talking about that type setting, I don't know that that's ever been discussed, but it's probably not a bad idea to investigate, to research. Because I know anytime you can control the environment, you're better off. And that's what I feel like we did a good job of in Indianapolis. And I like those situations. Now, in saying that, your schedule has to, be friendly to that as far as back-to-back games and stuff like that. But depending on where it is and stuff, that's definitely a possibility. And it's definitely a possibility even to add another, joint session the way we did it in Indianapolis. We actually talked about that this year, and we decided not to from some other reasons.
Freddie, you know how hard some of these guys here have worked and their futures are hanging in the balance. How difficult is it going to be for you? You've not been in this position before to tell guys that they're not good enough to make your roster.
Very difficult. That's one of the hardest things you do as a coach. I know as a position coach, that was the hardest thing I had to do, because these guys are invested in making the team. They're vested in you as a person if you get them the way you want them to be, because you're asking them to do tough things and hard things, and they're buying into it. And then, so it's definitely hard. It's very hard. It's one of the hardest parts of our business.
So, as position coach, you've had to break the news in your past?
Yes, I have.
So will you delegate that authority?
No.
You'll do.
They'll hear from me and John. They'll hear from the top two. Now, their position coaches will talk to them as well. But I won't hide in a room anywhere if that's what you're asking. So.
I mean, that's a lot of guys.
Well, I understand, and it's a commitment. Believe me, it's a commitment, especially when you go from 90 to 53. But they've committed to us for a while. Some of them going on 4 months. I think we can fit it in to commit to them.
Do you think do you envision starting the process in earnest on Friday?
I'm not sure. That's John's call there.